I'm joined by Dali Yang, professor of political science at the University of Chicago. He's also senior advisor to the university's president and provost on global initiatives. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
So dozens of countries, billions of dollars at stake. How ambitious is the Belt and Road Initiative?
Well, certainly it meets an important need in the region and across the countries that are covered. And of course, the number of countries involved is substantial. The fact that we have representatives from more than 100 countries going to Beijing show the desire for such investments and so on. And of course, the estimated price tag of $500 billion is matched and certainly complemented by a lot of other funding as well. So the world, especially after the economic recession, has a lot of need for infrastructure, for connections, for building economic ties, and China has stepped up to meet that need.
You mentioned all the people attending, 29 world leaders, even more going to Beijing. Can you talk about the significance of these specific countries attending?
Well, certainly, I think what's interesting is President Putin from Russia is going to be attending. There are all countries, especially in the region, Central Asia, some European countries. But what's also conspicuous is the absence of certain leaders, including that of the United States. But of course, President Trump is slated to be meeting with President Xi at a later time. They already met in Florida. So there are some debates and discussions about also the limits. But overall, though, what is striking is how so many countries are already represented this time.
And it's also the UN Secretary General. He will be there, as well as the heads of the World Bank and the IMF. What is their role in all of this?
Well, it shows how the institutions China is developing, including the development banks, the Agency for International Economic Cooperation, the Chinese commercial banks, are working with the existing system, including the IMF, the World Bank, and so on. And the president of the World Bank, who is American, has also spoken out, emphasizing how the bank is willing to work with the Chinese in this case. So, in other words, China is leading the charge in helping to bolster the existing institutions, but at the same time taking on a leadership role that traditionally has been left to, for example, the World Bank, or for that matter, countries such as the United States and Japan and Europe.
So there is a lot of anticipation, this huge rollout. What will you be watching for as this forum gets underway, and what do you think we can expect?
Well, I think certainly increasingly people are saying the potential success of this initiative. Of course, there has been some moderation in the amount of investments going in. But at the same time, I think you look at some of the sentiments coming out of, for example, India and so on. So there are also some worries because there are geopolitical implications of this initiative. They strengthen certain countries. They certainly help certain economies more than others. So there are distributional consequences in the different parts of the world and so on. So it's not an unallied initiative in terms of thinking about how they help every country. So in that sense, China needs to strike the balance in terms of geopolitical concerns and also the economic concerns.
All right, Professor Dali Yang, thank you so much for joining us from Chicago.
You're most welcome.